Hello, my beautiful friends. Gabe here from drumbeatsonline.com, a website that helps you become a better drummer. Now, guys, I know what it feels like when you have a friend over your house and they see your beautiful drum kit and they say, let me hear a really cool drum beat, and they're expecting to be impressed, and you have no idea what to play. You might be able to play a mean 4 on the floor groove, but to them, that's not going to be very impressive. So today, I'm going to fix that issue for you and teach you 3 incredible drum fills that will impress all of your friends. So let's get started. Our first fill is an epic crossover fill. Now this fill is going to be played in 4/4 time as well as the rest of the fills that we are going to learn here. So we're going to keep it nice and simple in regards to time signatures. But the way we are going to play this first fill is in 16th note triplets. So if you're not familiar with that, the way that we count that with a click is 1 into 1 into 2 into 2 into 3 into 3 into 4 into 4 into 1. So every quarter note beat gets 6 notes played with it. So you have 24 notes played within one measure. So I'm gonna keep this first sticking pattern nice and simple for you. Just because it's gonna impress your friends doesn't mean it needs to be a complex sticking pattern. So what we are gonna do is just play right, left, kick, kick 4 times. However, once we apply that sticking pattern to the drum set, it can start to feel a little bit more complex once we start getting into all of these crossovers. So let's split this fill into 2 parts. So part 1, we are gonna start off with that right hand on our hi-hat and our left hand on the floor tom. So immediate crossover. Then we bring that right hand to the floor tom and then left hand to the hi-hat and then kick, kick. And then we are crossing over again with our right hand on the hi-hat, left hand on the floor tom, right hand on the snare drum, and left hand on the floor tom. Now let's hear what the first part of this fill sounds like. So there are already a whole bunch of crossovers in this, but it sounds really cool. Now the second part of this fill is going to be right hand on the floor tom, left, right, left on the hi-hat, then kick, kick, then right hand on the snare drum, left hand on the hi-hat, right hand on the floor tom, then left hand on the snare drum, kick, kick, and then we are done with the fill. Now we're gonna bring these 2 halves together and play the whole fill all together at a few different tempos. Check it out. So if your friends are a bunch of crazy people and they aren't impressed by that first fill, this second fill will be sure to impress them. So this fill is going to be played between 16th notes and 32nd notes, and it is going to be 1 measure long. So again, we are going to split this fill in half and learn the first half first, and then we will get to the second half. So for the first beat of this fill, we are going to be playing 16th notes, and the second beat is going to transition into 32nd notes. So the sticking pattern is going to be right, left together, and then another left, and then kick, kick. Then we transition into our 32nd notes, and that is just going to be right, left, right, left, right, left. So the way we are going to apply that to the drum kit is by playing an open hi-hat on our right hand and a floor tom on our left hand. So again, we are starting this fill off with a crossover. Then that second left hand is going to be a floor tom again, and then we have a kick, kick, and then those first 4 notes are going to be played on the floor tom. Then that last right is played on a stack or whatever you have. It could be on a crash cymbal, it could be the bell of the ride, and then that last left hand is going to be played on the snare drum. But guess what? We have a bonus on this drum fill. We are going to try to throw in a stick trick on that first right with that open hi-hat. So when we hit that hi-hat, we're just going to toss our stick and catch it like that. So we're really just doing this. If you want to learn how to do this stick trick, it's called the toss. You can check out my video on 2 easy stick tricks right up here. But now let's hear what the first half of this fill sounds like. Check it out. Now the second half of this fill is very similar to the first. We are starting off in 16th notes and then transitioning into 32nd notes. So the sticking pattern is going to be kick, right, left together, right, and then kick. Then we move on into our 32nd notes, which is right, left, kick, right, left, right. Now the way that we are applying this to the drum set is going to be kick on the kick drum, left on the open hi-hat, and right on the floor tom, then another right on the floor tom, then a kick drum, then we are just going snare drum, rack tom, floor tom, snare drum, kick, and then floor tom, and then left, right on the snare drum. But guess what? We have one more stick trick opportunity. When we hit the open hi-hat with our left hand, we have just enough time to toss it up and go into the rest of our drum fill. Now before we bring these 2 halves together, I want to urge you guys to practice this drum fill first without any stick tricks. Make sure that you can play this whole fill nice and clean and at a good tempo, and then you can start to get showy with it and throw in the stick tricks. So now let's put this drum fill all together and hear it at a few different tempos. Check it out. Now it's time for fill number 3. This fill is actually going to be 2 measures long, and it's going to be split between 16th notes and 16th note triplets. So that first measure is just in 16th notes, and that second measure is where things get a little quicker with those 16th note triplets. So again, we are going to split it into 2 parts. So the sticking pattern for this first fill is going to be right, left, kick, kick, right, left, kick. And we're just going to play that 2 times. And the way that we are applying that along the drum set is, guess what, in another crossover. So we are going to start off with our right hand on the close hi-hat, then a left on the floor tom, then 2 kicks, then the right hand on the floor tom, left hand on the close hi-hat, and then kick. And then we are just repeating that again. So let's hear what the first part of this fill sounds like behind the kit. Now the second part of this fill is where things start to get a little bit more complex and a little bit more wordy than any of the other fills, but I know that you can do it. So here we are playing in 16th note triplets. So the sticking pattern here is going to be right, left, left twice, and then we've got a right, right, left, and then right, left, left, kick. And then from there, we are just going right, left, kick 2 times, and then a right. And then we are done with the second half of this fill. So we are gonna have right, left, left on the snare, and then that second right is going to be on the rack tom, and then left, left on the snare. Then we have a right, right on the snare drum, and a left hand now on the rack tom. And now our right hand is going to go to the bell of the ride, and then that left, left is back on the snare drum. Then we have a kick drum, right, left on the floor tom, right on a stack cymbal, or again, anything that you have, left on the snare drum, then kick again, right on the snare drum, left on the rack tom, right, left on the floor tom, kick, floor tom. So now let's check out what the second half of this fill sounds like behind the kit. All right, now it is time to put both halves together and hear what this fill sounds like all together at a few different tempos. Check it out. All right, friends, now I know with these 3 drum fills, you will definitely be impressing all of your friends. If you guys like this lesson, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you are always in the know when new lessons come out. Also, if you want some more incredible content and lessons, make sure you go to drumbeatsonline.com or check out my podcast, the Drum Beats Podcast, right here. We are always talking about really relevant things to help you succeed as a drummer. Let me know which one of your fills is a favorite in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next lesson. Bye.